Hi, my name is Dana Myers, Channel Marketing Manager with Texas Instruments Wireless Connectivity Solutions Group. Today I'm going to be talking to you about getting started with TI's Bluetooth portfolio. From an agenda perspective, we're going to talk about Bluetooth, what is Bluetooth, and then how to get started with TI's Bluetooth and dual mode solutions. Talk about what is Bluetooth low energy and how to get started with our Bluetooth low energy solutions. So from an overall portfolio perspective, TI has a couple different solutions. One is a Bluetooth low energy solution, the CC2540 and 41. We have a Bluetooth classic solution, CC2560, and a dual mode Bluetooth plus Bluetooth low energy, which is a CC2564. So if you look at it from the application standpoint, you see on the left-hand side, low power sensor type applications. So if you're looking to use something where you want like a coin cell battery for about a year time frame, that's going to be your Bluetooth low energy. It also has a lower data rate, so you're sending sensor type application, about 100 kbps. In the middle is when you're kind of getting up into maybe more complex or higher data rates from a data standpoint. So you have old and new phones that have Bluetooth and Bluetooth low energy. So you may want to have a combination device that allows you to speak to all phones and tablets that exist in the market today. So this gets you up to about 3 megabits per second from a data rate perspective. And then on the right is really where Classic comes in, Bluetooth Classic. If you're using audio, if you're wanting to do streaming, if you're wanting to do kind of microphones and different things like that, that's where the audio comes in and Bluetooth Classic. So you can use the A2DP to stream. You can use different types of MCUs to use that, like an M3, M4, or even from a lower end perspective, supporting MSP430 to do some low-end audio. All right, what is Bluetooth? So a couple characteristics of Bluetooth. It's really meant to transfer data and audio from a wireless perspective. It's intended to be more of kind of a close range, maybe within personal space or a room type range. You're looking at 2.4 gigahertz, so it's in that unlicensed frequency, and it's used globally. So anywhere in the world you can use Bluetooth. We talked about the range a little bit, kind of 10 to 100 meters. With our dual mode and Bluetooth Classic solution, you can actually get above that as well. And then it's commonly used. So most of the cell phones, smartphones out there today, a lot of the computers, laptops also have Bluetooth. You're also seeing it a lot in the automotive space coming into the cars and things like that. And then the data rates for Bluetooth are pretty good. You're seeing up to 3 to 4 megabits per second throughput perspective. So you see there are some of the applications, your health and fitness, mobile device accessories, things that you're collecting data and sending it to your phone, toys where you're controlling it or doing some things with audio from a toy perspective, and then embedded audio apps where you're playing music, streaming it for different applications. So what are some of the trends in Bluetooth? So we're seeing that the IoT side of things is saying there's going to be 50 billion connected devices in 2020. That's a lot of devices and a lot of different things that are going to start being connected. So from a Bluetooth perspective, we're going to see over 3 billion units in 2017 that are already going to have Bluetooth in them. So accessories that go with those 3 billion devices are going to be very prevalent. The market trend is really to build more of these devices, having your tablet or your phone be kind of that central point where your other devices are going to connect to that and you can show it or analyze it on the phone itself. Bluetooth low energy is really becoming more popular. You're seeing that a lot more. The iOS devices are starting to support it. Android is now officially going to support it. And so there's a big trend going in the Bluetooth low energy side of things. So we see that as important to have potentially the dual mode as well as the Bluetooth low energy solutions. Today, not all mobile devices, not all tablets have that Bluetooth low energy. So we see a need for customers that want to build a single solution that can work with any of those devices out there today, tablets, phones, and things like that. So that's where the dual mode comes in, allows you to talk to anything. And then we've talked about before, all of the portfolio that we have covers all the different options depending on what application you're looking at. So Bluetooth low energy for your lower data rate, very low power type applications. Your Bluetooth Classic if you're trying to do more either higher end, maybe some audio, things like that, or dual mode where you can actually use both of them depending on what kind of device you're connecting to. We also have Bluetooth plus AM, which is another combination. All right, so why Bluetooth from TI? So one of the biggest things is the best-in-class performance. And so we see that a lot with the receive sensitivity and the transmit power that we have with our solutions coming from the 7th generation that we've been doing Bluetooth. We didn't just wake up and say, hey, let's go do Bluetooth, because a lot of people are doing that. So we've had a lot of experience with it, getting the performance up there and making it differentiated. So we're offering it in a device as well as with third-party modules. So TI has a QFN Package device that's available, and then there's several certified modules that are available from partners such as LSR, Murata, and others. And they vary from different antennas on board, off board, different classes of Bluetooth, different designs, different services offered with the solutions as well. We think that the dual mode is really a differentiator as well. So having a broad market offering with that dual mode solution is really key for customers to be able to do a single solution. And then last but not least is really giving flexibility. So I talked about the flexibility on the hardware side, but there's also flexibility on the software side, allowing you as a customer to do customizations or change things, do different MCUs. So let's talk about the hardware a little bit. So I talked about the different offerings that we have. This is showing it for the QFN Package solution. And it's really kind of a one-stop shop from TI. You have the hardware solution with the devices. Samples are available. You can buy kits and things like that as well. And then the software. So we have the software online for TI platforms as well as directly from Stone Street One for other solutions. There's evaluation tools if you want to get started. There's an RF tool, a comprehensive wiki with a lot more detail, and a support forum. So around that, we also have a reference design. So with the QFN Package device, we've built a reference design that you can copy and paste and put on your own PCB. So there's a lot of references that are around that are available on the wiki. So there's user guides, design reference, the design files themselves, different guidelines for that. There's a checklist. So when you go through and you're using the design, you can actually go through and make sure that you have a first pass success with your PCB. The hardware evaluation tool that I talked about, and then the wiki in general that gives you a lot of information on hardware, software, certification, and the EDE forums to ask questions. So I also talked about third-party modules. So there's several different vendors that have different solutions. Some of them are the dual mode solutions. Some of them are Bluetooth Classic. You have some that are Class 1. They're all modules that are pre-certified. So you have FCC, IC, and CE certification, which at the end of the day can save you a lot of money. So there's different variations. Some of them have antenna on board. Some are off board. Some are industrial temp range. Some are consumer. So there's different variations and a lot of flexibility to meet your needs. We also, from a software perspective, have online freely downloadable software stack that includes the stack itself, some of the profiles, and then sample applications. So you see there at the top, we have several different profiles that are supported on the Bluetooth side as well as Bluetooth Low Energy. So for the dual mode, we support IAR and CCS. And this software stack, we have a solution for MSP430 from the TI side as well as TIVA-C. So you can get more information and get to the downloads and things like that on the wiki itself. All right, getting started. So how do you get started to evaluate? So I've talked about the wiki a couple times, and this is just a screenshot really to show you the amount of information that's on there. So on the left-hand side, you have kind of your getting started. Get a kit, go through the reference design, or there's some FAQs to kind of understand it a little bit more. Looking at the product folders to see what's going on there, to get some more details on the product itself. And then from a hardware perspective, so I talked about the reference designs. You have module options, you have EVM platforms, you have the checklists and things like that. So that's all under the hardware side of things. And then you have the software. So there's documentation on the software, service packs, the sample code, the SDK, which includes the stack profiles, and the sample applications themselves, as well as a hardware tool. So that all comes under the software side. And then when you kind of get further down, after you've done the evaluation, you're looking at doing testing, certification, things like that with your product. We have some guidelines and some recommendations around that as well. At the bottom, we have some more details on the different development tools, some details. We have some great videos. You can go check out some of the sample applications themselves or some of the overviews for the platforms. And then also from a support forum perspective, if you have questions that you need to ask our engineers, go to that support forum. That's where they'll answer and the community can answer as well. All right, let's talk about some of the development kits. So the first one on the list there is the CC2560X QFN EM. This is an evaluation module that has the QFN Package device on it, and it has the reference design that I talked about on it. So that's really the key implementation and what you want to start evaluating with. That EM board fits into other experimenter boards from Texas Instruments with some of the MSP430 and TIVA solutions. Some of the other options for evaluation are, the next one is the EZ430 kit. So this is kind of your all-in-one. There's an MSP430 on the target board itself, and allows you just kind of in one piece to get it out and evaluate Bluetooth a little bit if you want to do that. The third one is another EM module that has a third-party module solution on it. So that's another evaluation option if you'd like to do that. And then the fourth one is kind of your all-encompassing if you're wanting to do Bluetooth plus ANT. Has all the hardware there for you. So let's look at the stack a little bit from a software perspective. So this is kind of the full stack. You see on the bottom there is really more of the hardware solution. So that's kind of what we call the low-level stack for Bluetooth, and that's what's incorporated into the hardware device itself. On the top is the upper-level stack, which is where the software comes in. This is what's mandated and defined by the Bluetooth SIG. And so these different layers are implemented as part of the stack that I've talked about, as well as the profiles. So you see on the very top there, the profiles. On the left-hand side, you have kind of what the architecture looks like from the Bluetooth side, and then the right-hand side is more what it looks like from the BLE side. So while they can work together, some of the architecture pieces are a little bit different. So if we look at the software support from what we're providing, I've talked about before that we provide royalty-free solution for the stack, profiles, and sample apps for MSP430, and MTI's M3 and M4. So that's downloadable. You can get to that from the wiki that we pointed to a couple times. But say you're looking for something a little different. Maybe you have a different MCU in your system, or you're looking to add in new profiles that aren't on our download option. There's a lot of flexibility there, and you can work directly with Stone Street One to enable those different flexibility options. They also have things like supporting MFI if you're looking to do some things with iOS devices sending data. They also have custom support. Maybe you need a little bit more and are looking for some more dedicated support to get something out the door very fast. There's some options for that as well. All right, I talked a couple times about the hardware evaluation tool, so let's talk about that a little bit more. So this is really a PC tool that allows you to put the Bluetooth solution into a couple different modes. One is continuous transmit, so if you're going to do some FCC testing, that's the mode you would put it in. Continuous receive, so if you're doing some testing on receive, trying to measure power and things like that. Or packet receive and transmit, where you're sending and receiving different packets. Also Bluetooth SIG mode, so if you're going to look at doing some of the Bluetooth SIG certification tests, you can do that. The Bluetooth solution that we have is actually subsystem certified, and so is the software. So that allows you to take the hardware and software solutions that we have together and just create an end product listing for the Bluetooth SIG. All right, so why TI dual mode with Bluetooth and Bluetooth low energy? I think the three main things that we're looking at here are the cost effectiveness, the flexibility, and the high performance. So from a cost-effective perspective, really having the low-cost power. So we talked about the QFN package option, making that a low-cost solution. Also incorporating things like the reference design. You're not having to spend RF engineering dollars or RF engineering time to do things. That's provided to you just to put on your PCB. I talked about the Bluetooth SIG certification. That's also a reduction in cost with the solution itself. Quick software development. So software development can really add a lot of cost to your overall solution development. So having the sample applications, the stack already provided, the profiles that you're looking for, really gives you a great leading edge to get started and do your development and differentiate with your own applications. And then from a support perspective, so a lot of the things that we've talked about, the wikis, the forums, and things like that are publicly available. So you have a lot of resources available to you so that you can quickly get things answered and move forward fast in your development. So the next one is flexibility. So we've talked about this a little bit, but I want to emphasize that there's a couple things here. One from a software perspective. So we have the royalty-free solutions that are available online, but there's a lot of flexibility around that. If you want to use it with a different hardware solution, if you want to add in new profiles, you want a different kind of support, there's a lot of flexibility on the software side. And then on the hardware side as well, if you want to use the QFN Package device, that's an option. If you want to use one of the Bluetooth modules that are already certified to, again, reduce your costs and ease of application and development, those are other options as well from multiple vendors. And then from a high performance perspective, so we have a couple things there. When you're looking at performance from a Bluetooth perspective, a lot of the focus is around range. And this comes from the combination of the transmit power, how much you can push out, as well as the receive sensitivity, which is kind of how soft things can be to listen to it. And the combination of those really gives you what your range is. And TI definitely has best-in-class range with our Bluetooth solution. With the dual mode solution, compared to a traditional Bluetooth low energy only solution, we see about 2x the range for Bluetooth low energy with this dual mode solution. And then again, we talked about it. It's not, it's not newfound performance. It's things that we've been working on for several generations to give us this performance. So here I'm just pointing out some additional resources for you, just so you have some links to go to. We talked about the solutions themselves. That Bluetooth solution link there will give you a lot of the information that we've talked about. The wiki, where you can get the vast information of hardware, software support, and things like that. The software, actually where you would go download it, and then the forum to get support. You can also get links from the wiki to the different videos that are pointed out here. So we'll kind of transition. We talked a little bit about at the beginning about some of the applications where you would fit the Bluetooth low energy versus the dual mode and the classic. And this just shows it in a little bit different light with a couple other applications. So things like proximity, how close you are to things, or being able to turn or change things, seeing your presence and things like that. Typically done with the Bluetooth low energy, CC2540 and 41. Health and fitness really kind of goes across the gamut. You see all kinds of things. You see basketballs, you see golf clubs, heart rate monitors, and different types of applications. Some are using Bluetooth low energy and some are using the dual mode. Same thing with mobile device accessories. So you're seeing the watches that are connecting via Bluetooth and doing all kinds of things. Things that are connecting just to have information and send to you to your phone. Different toys, so a lot of things coming in from an audio or a control perspective with the toys, kind of fitting more into the classic or the dual mode. And then embedded audio apps, whether it's streaming or doing some kind of audio recognition and things like that. Again, more suited for the classic type of things. All right, so let's move on to Bluetooth low energy. So what is Bluetooth low energy? So I talked a little bit before about the Bluetooth SIG. So they're defining what Bluetooth is. How does the architecture work? How do the profiles and different things work in the software? As well as from a hardware perspective. So the Bluetooth 4.0 specification is what brings in the Bluetooth low energy. It's really kind of your wireless personal area network. And the focus applications and kind of where it differs is you're really focusing on the low power, low latency, low throughput. A lot of sensor, the proximity, and things like that is where that comes in. So some of the key markets you see in entertainment, a lot of the sports and fitness, some of the home automation, even security, the proximity, being close to things like we talked about, medical, industrial, automotive. So it spans a lot of different applications, and the opportunities and different things are endless. All right, so let's compare Bluetooth Low Energy to Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So you see there on the left-hand side, all three of those technologies actually work in the 2.4 gigahertz space in the frequency band. So from a BLE perspective, there's two different types of channels that you have. You have advertising and you have data channels. And so the advertising channels that you see there in red are actually picked specifically to be outside of where Wi-Fi typically is. And then the data channels use frequency hopping so that they're moving around and not interfering with other Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and other things that are going on. So on the top right, you see it from a power source perspective. So Bluetooth Low Energy is going to be your lowest, with coin cell from a TI solution perspective lasting up to about a year on coin cell. Bluetooth's a little bit higher than that, and then Wi-Fi is typically going to be higher than that from a power source perspective. On the bottom right, you have it from a throughput standpoint. So your Bluetooth Low Energy is going to be in your more like your 1 kilobit per second. Your Bluetooth's going to be around 3, and then your Wi-Fi can get up much higher than that. So throughput's kind of how much data you can push through the pipe. Your power source is, what's driving the solution, how long the battery can last itself. All right, so let's look at Bluetooth Low Energy and some of the roles that exist in Bluetooth Low Energy. So there's 4 different roles that exist. The first one is peripheral role. And so this is where you have something that's advertising information and it operates as a slave. So typically connected to like a device, like a phone or a tablet where you're getting information. So an example of that would be like a heart rate monitor where you're getting that information and it's advertising. A central solution, which is typically going to be your phone or your tablet or something like that, that can scan for advertisements, it can connect to other things, and it operates as the master. So you can have multiple slaves. Say you have a heart rate monitor and something else that's maybe recording pulse or some other type of sensor. You have a broadcaster. So this is something that you're not necessarily connecting to, but it's sending out data. So something like a temperature sensor that you might connect in your house or somewhere else. And then an observer. So this is something that's just looking for information that's being broadcasted out there. So like something that's actually reading the temperature sensors and showing that, displaying it. So in a little bit more detail from the Bluetooth Low Energy side, you have profiles. In the Bluetooth Classic side of things, you just have profiles. So on top of the stack itself. Whereas in Bluetooth Low Energy, you have profiles and services. So each profile is made up of multiple services, and those services really help to define how things are implemented within a given application. So if you look at on the far right-hand side, the example there, you have a heart rate profile. So you have a heart rate service that goes with that, and then you have a device information service. So this is all providing information into how the application is going to work for a heart rate solution. Another example here is a proximity. So you would have a couple services that would work for proximity, link loss service, immediate alert service. It just defines how things work within the solution itself. All right, so getting started. So now we're talking about the Bluetooth Low Energy solutions and how do we get started with TI's implementations. So basically, I think the key things here are ordering the kit itself, downloading the software that's freely available, royalty-free, and then start evaluating, seeing how it works and understanding it a little bit more. So let's talk about the options a little bit from a Bluetooth Low Energy perspective. So this is the hardware side of things. So we have 2 different solutions, CC2540 and CC2541. For the CC2540, this solution has a USB interface. It's an SoC itself, so it's all integrated, has the MCU inside, and has a little bit higher output power. So from the CC2541, it's also an SoC, has an I2C interface, and is really more of an optimized radio to give you lower power options. If you look at the very bottom, there's a couple different ways that you can use it. So I talked about it as an SoC, so that's one option, is a one-chip solution. But it can also be if you want to put additional profiles and things like that on a separate MCU, along with your applications, there's options for that as well. All right, let's look at it from a development kit standpoint. So we said to get started to look at purchasing a development kit and downloading the software. So there's a couple different options here. On the left-hand side, you have the first version, kind of a way to easily evaluate Bluetooth Low Energy itself. So this is the mini kit, gives you a way to do connection and start evaluating. The next kit, the DK and the EMK, is really your more extensive advanced solution. So there's different peripherals on there. If you're really doing a lot of your own development with it, that's the development kit that you want to get. The third one is an extremely popular one, which is a sensor tag. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but it allows you kind of out of box to be able to use Bluetooth Low Energy with a bunch of different sensors and try to use that in different ways like you would in your application. And then the last one is a remote control design that you can buy as a kit to try out and do some different things with. So let's talk about the Bluetooth sensor tag that I talked about. Really what this is a very simple solution to allow you to get things out of the box and try it out. So you have the sensor tag itself, and then you have a sensor tag app that can either be on an Android or an iOS device. Within the sensor tag, you've got 6 different types of sensors, and then buttons and LEDs to try to control that or do some different things, accelerometer, move it around. So you can see how the data is moving and see that on the app itself. And so this is a great way to really kind of see how Bluetooth Low Energy is working and the types of things that you would use it for. All right, let's talk about the software solution a little bit. So again, when in the Bluetooth Low Energy solution, TI is providing a royalty-free stack that's available online. So a couple different pieces here. It's really an optimized stack for the solution. You have all the different roles that I talked about are supported. You have GAT with client and server modes, and then the security manager as well that has some encryption in there. So it gives you some security, which is standard within Bluetooth. There's different sample applications and profiles. So we've talked about that across the solutions. You have kind of some generic applications with different gap roles, the various supported profiles. Also within the solution, all of the latest SIG profiles that are adopted within the SIG are supported in the solution. And then there's also an over-the-air download option. And so this is really important as we see the different devices out in the market that you're connecting to via Bluetooth. They're updating the operating systems, they're updating how they're doing things within Bluetooth. And so it's really important if there's something that might change how it would interact with your solution, you want to be able to update and make a fix for that when your products are in the market. So this is a differentiated key thing that's needed. And then as I said with the Bluetooth solution, the Bluetooth Low Energy is also Bluetooth SIG certified. So the controller subsystem, there's a host subsystem, as well as a profile subsystem. So again with this, that saves you cost, not having to do Bluetooth SIG certification yourself. So this is similar to the architecture that we talked about on the dual mode side. So this is the Bluetooth Low Energy side. You have the hardware pieces down there, and then on the upper layers, you're going to have the L2 cap, your attribute, your gap, and things like that that go up to the different services and profiles that you have in Bluetooth Low Energy, and that's where you put your applications on top of that. So along with the Bluetooth Low Energy solution, there's several tools that are provided to you to help ease the development as well as to just make it easier. So the first one is called a B tool, and this is really to run different tests on the different functionalities. So it's a PC tool that allows you to do that. There's a device monitor, so it's a graphical way to explore some of the services and characteristics. So we talked about the services being key pieces and building blocks of the profiles. So this is a way to kind of explore those in some more detail. There's also a smart RF protocol packet sniffer. So this gives you a full overview to be able to capture the communication and see what's going on, see if you're seeing errors or different things like that. And then the last one is a flash programmer that allows you to program the devices itself and read and write addresses. So why TI Bluetooth Low Energy? I think the key things, very similar to the Bluetooth solutions, your cost effectiveness, your flexibility, and your high performance. So from a cost effectiveness, you're really looking at a highly integrated solution. So we talked about it, that it's an SoC, it's flash-based, makes it low cost. The package itself, it's a small QFN package. The reference design that goes along with it is 2 layers, which makes it lower cost for you. And then quick software development. So you've got a lot of software examples out there. You have the source code for the different apps on the iOS and Android. Then from a flexibility side, so it's really a mature solution. It's been around for several years. TI had the first BLE-only solution in the market. We've shipped over 10,000 different kits to customers, so it's very mature. Lots of people using it and evaluating. And leading market share. So it's a very mature solution that customers are using in production and development. You also have a lot of flexibility from a configuration standpoint. So with the stack and things like that, you have ability to do some role switching, combo roller. We talked about the over-the-air software update, boot image manager. Really gives you some flexibility in your solution to make it what you want to. And then from a support perspective, so there's a large community that's asking questions and working with each other. TI engineers as well on there to answer questions for you. And all this information, like the Bluetooth solution, is publicly available. So from a high performance perspective, so this kind of goes into both the performance side of things as well as the ultra low power side of things. From a performance, we've talked about really being able to be on a coin cell battery for more than a year. So that's a great data point if you want to do something like that in your solution. Having a good link budget is very important from the overall performance of things. And then ultra low power. You've got the sleep modes, you've got short transition times between operating modes, several different things to keep you on that low power, keep you on that coin cell battery for a year. So I put here some additional resources that we talked about throughout the presentation. You have some of your overall Bluetooth Low Energy, kind of gets to all the different things. The wiki itself, what gives you a lot of the information, the EDE forums to go ask questions. Go look at the sensor tag, check it out, and see if you want to evaluate with that. And then some more solutions there as well. Thank you very much for listening today. I hope this presentation has been helpful for you to understand TI's Bluetooth portfolio.